Friends, hello. Welcome back to John's Comics with Kids. And it's been a few Saturdays that I've been away, but we are back. We're having another Saturday hangout, and it's coffee delivery time. Thank you. So cheers to all you, gang. Hope your Saturday's off to a good start. I got lots of stuff that I've been reading, some few things that I've picked up, and just a fun time to chat with all of you all. I got lots of live streams coming up this next week too, so lots of things to chat about. First in the chat, we got Fable from One Collection Down. What's going on, sir? Happy Throw Your Sets Up Saturday. Make sure you tag this gentleman if you're an Instagrammer and you want to post a set of books or a set of toys or something today. Make sure you're tagging this gentleman right here. We got my man, The Wrench, in the chat. What's going on, Just a Rican? Rod has been posting a ton of videos. If you're missing out on the Rican channel, it is back in full swing. There's lots of good stuff over there. You should check it out. We got DJ Wise in the chat. How's it going, sir? Good to see you. Of course, tailgater extraordinaire and commenter extraordinaire, Las Cruces from Mexico, New Mexico. Very impressed by how quickly after these live streams finish, this gentleman is right there to leave a comment. Make sure that the videos have comments on them. Awesome gentleman about that. Rob Boswell, what is going on, man? Good to see you, sir. How you doing? We got Well Boar in the chat. What's going on, man? We got Journey in the CJ's in the chat. What's going on? Yeah, we're live. Get out of here. Of course we're live. That's all I do these days. I don't do a lot of, I guess I make shorts, but I don't do a lot of edited content. That's not my thing. I'm not that guy. What's up? Perry is in the chat. Talk about edited content. This guy is bazzonkers. He's on his fifth channel getting, all kinds of new hit records, and he's breaking all the records, breaking all the goals. He's crushing it out there, and he's taking TK with him now. TK's on the rise. We got Schultze in the chat. One love from Chicago. Right back at you. I've been watching. I know you and I have talked about The Bear, which is a show on FX and Hulu that takes place in a restaurant in Chicago. And I know that you and I have chatted a little bit about how authentic it feels to Chicago for you. But the third season has now dropped, and I'm about 4-5 episodes in. Been very enjoyable. It's a hard show to watch because it's so anxiety inducing for me. What is up, Frog Brawler? Gentlemen, how you doing, sir? I saw that you were working on, I believe, your background and your specs as well. You don't want to cover up those eyes, man. He's got the bluest eyes in the comic book community. We've got Something Wong in the chat. What's going on, Something Wong? How are you doing? Happy Saturday to you. And Rod is back. What's up, Rod? Good to see you, sir. I want to be Perry when I grow down, because that's my goal. It's nothing like that, CJ. Nothing like that. No. It's about restauranting. The challenges in running a high-end restaurant. In fact, that this season, one of the big goals they're trying to accomplish is changing the menu every single day so that it's new and fresh and the ingredients are hopping. And but it's so hard for the staff that's cooking every day, and then the waiters in the front of house that have to remember all the new things that they're serving. Very complicated. Very complicated. So I can't imagine the stress of running a restaurant like that. That's stressful for me. But I saw my friend Binja in the chat. Inja, I'm going to be talking some manga. I'm going to be talking some fairy smut. But if you don't know, Inja is the other half of the Melanin and Manga team with Sheena. And you got to be following them. Melanin and Manga passed, I think they're at 315 now. They're on their way to 400 subscribers. Get over there and support Inja and Sheena if you can do that. They don't work very well, but they are blue. Well, there you go. That's, I guess at least they look amazing. So when your ladies look in your eyes, they're like, what? Right? But then you got to put the glasses on. Libro Paradiso. This is our man Gore Vidal. He just dropped a video this morning. Very interesting video on his relationship to being a reader and appreciating good writing. and he cites some very interesting novelists and their work, Nabokov being the key among them. And I love that you even brought up the Police song where they reference Lolita, a very, very great reference point. I thought that was, because that was my first knowledge of who Nabokov was as a kid. I was listening to the Police. I didn't know who they were talking about. I'd never read that book, so it was funny that you referenced that as well. But yeah, the idea that they are, what is it that you said? They are a storyteller, they are a teacher, and they're an enchanter. The best writers weave together those three elements. They're telling a story to entertain, they're educating and informing, and then they are enchanting you to the extent that you're lost in this realm. Those are very good. I like that. I like that comment. Very well done. We got Los's comic journey in the chat. What are you doing, brother? Good to see you. Let's see. Schulte said the first episode of the third season was pretty much a silent episode. It was really well done. It was I liked the way they started off the season. I thought it was very well played. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Perry's missed Rob. That's good. We got Sheena. The other half. We got Melanin and Manga. Make sure, again, subscribe over there to Melanin and Manga if you want info on good reads. In fact, Sheena just dropped her reads from June, and it's a ton. She reads a ton. If you want good information about manga, comics, you name it, fairy smut, she's got all of you covered over there. So make sure you're cruising the way. Grew up in a restaurant business, had enough of that. That's fair. That's fair. I couldn't handle it myself. It's too stressful. What is going on? Am I going to buy all the new X-Men titles? I can't believe you won't. I'm not planning on it. I might snag an occasional great cover variant here or there, but I'm going to try to read this new era of X-Men digitally unless I get connected to something on an emotional level. I believe there was one writer team, Mark Russell, I believe, is doing the X Factor comic. That makes me curious because I love Mark Russell. I may give that one a better chance than the others, but I don't think so. Yeah, anxiety. The Bear is very anxiety inducing for sure. Absolutely my pleasure. I was excited to get the notification that you had posted a new video. Very excited. 16 viewers and only 8 likes. That's just YouTube for you. That's just YouTube. Just came back from dumping yard waste. Wah, wah. Well done, sir. The Jubilee negative space that's on FOC this week is awesome. Ooh, is that for her solo series, Frog Brawler? That sounds like, I know a lot of characters are getting solo series now with this new era post Hickman. So I got a lot of stuff I've been reading. I'm nearly done with my most recent omnibus. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend if I can. I think I've got 14 more issues to read in this omnibus that I'm doing now. So I'll start with that. I am reading the second volume of Neil Gaiman's Sandman, which I know is a little awkward now because Neil has had some big allegations this last year against him. But I just wanted to read something that was so seminal to comic book history. I think if you look at, and Cliff and I did recently, comic book stories that kind of changed the medium and changed the way we read comics, I think it's hard to argue that Sandman wasn't one of those. And I've never read the whole run. Volume 2 goes through issue 75. And from what I'm understanding is kind of the end of the original run. The third omnibus is all of the tie-ins, spin-offs, side stories, mini series and stuff. So I'm going to read the third volume at some point, but I did want to finish the main title. And I dropped a short on it recently. So if you haven't seen it, it's here on YouTube, it's on YouTube, it's on Instagram. Really looking at one of the more interesting stories that I thought was well handled. So I read one called Brief Lives. And what I liked about it was focused on, obviously, Dream is the main character, right? Morpheus, and his siblings. So it focused on what they call the Endless, this group of immortal, godlike characters that seem to have their fingers in all the things the humans are doing on Earth, but at the same time don't have a lot of passion for humanity as a whole. I guess ironically, Death being the one that has the most love of life. And it's an interesting storyline. In this story, Brief Lives, one of the siblings, Delirium, who is somewhat unstable at this point, has noticed that their older brother, Destruction, has gone missing. There are 7 siblings. I'll see if I can remember them all. Delirium, Destruction, Dream, Death, Desire, and Despair. I feel like I missed one. I said 7 and I counted 6. I missed one. I knew I was going to miss one. Yeah, I missed one there. Doesn't matter. Delirium decides I need to figure out what happened to Destruction. He's gone missing. He's not answering any of our calls. We can't find him anywhere. So she goes about checking with all of her siblings to find someone who will help her. And of course, she finds Dream in the end. And he's the one that says, he loves his sister enough that he's willing to kind of go with her on this journey. And they travel through all these different places. It's a very odd kind of metaphysical road trip. And Dream, is starting to realize that, Destiny. I forgot Destiny. He's starting to realize that his brother didn't just want an escape. Yeah, look, something Wong got me too. Dry, I think he got it before me. His brother not only wanted a break and an escape, but that maybe his brother was preparing for the end, an evolution beyond what he is. Because there is a discussion within the Endless that they can evolve, right? Delirium used to be Delight, I believe, and Delight transitioned from joy, the essence of joy, to just like this sort of euphoric delirium, where she is now kind of like lost between what is reality and what isn't, right? And Destruction is ready to move on. And one of the things I loved the most, and I didn't have time in the 60-second video I made, I wanted to comment on, and I might make a separate video on the idea that Destruction comments that all of these endless spirits, these gods, have like duality in their essence. They are not just the one thing that they're given, right? That there are 2 sides. And he says, obviously for him, Destruction, the other half, is creation, and that he is not able to be the essence of Destruction without understanding the relationship to creation. And he mentions the idea of Despair having hope as the other side of that coin. And they sort of discuss, the differences between what the essence of them is and what their opposite, what's the polar side of it. And it leads Dream to then ask, well, what's the opposite of me? Like, what's my opposite? Because he had never considered the fact that he had a polarity to him. And that Destruction says, well, the opposite of Dream is reality. And, you can't have Dream without having truth, right? Without having the reality. Whether the dream is like Martin Luther King having a hope, a dream for the future, or whether it's an abstraction, that you're having in your mind. I thought it was a very interesting comment, the duality in these characters and the relationship between Dream, which can be all these sort of nightmare qualities, but then also the relationship to reality. I thought it was really well. It was just a really deep metaphysical conversation that I thought I took away a lot of thoughts from in the end. Let's see. Oh, the negative space Jubilee was for Uncanny. All right, we got Digger Jim is in the chat. What's going on, Jim? Hope you're doing some beach combing here with the holidays. I know it's the perfect time to cruise those beaches with all those 4th of July folk just dropping their wedding rings and stuff on the sand. You can cruise through and clean up, my man. We got Paul. What's up, Big O? He says, good morning to the West Coast from the East Coast. No, good morning, West Coast, and afternoon, East Coasters. There it is. That's what it was. And let's see. I thought it was Doug. It's not Doug. No, it's not Doug. I guess it could have been Doug. So, anyways, I'm very much enjoying this. I'm into the penultimate storyline. I guess the last big storyline. It's called The Kindly Ones. and it seems to be about the fates, the power of the fates and to controlling destinies for people. And then there's one other short storyline after that. So basically, I'm near to the end of it. Like I said, 14 issues left, and I'm hoping to get through those this weekend. And then maybe I can get caught up on the new comics because I'm about a week and a half behind on my new comic book day reading. So falling a little behind on some of that. We got Signature King in the chat. What's going on, Tony? How you doing, sir? Let's see. Saw that you were getting into it. Yeah, I have been. I have been getting into the Sandman, or at least trying to. I enjoyed the first volume so much. I did not want to just binge it. So I was trying to take my time so that I could kind of absorb it. So I try to, cut it up with other things so that I can be reading some of this and then reading some of that. So I can spend a little time, which, for the sake of Sheena and Inja can lead to Dan to Dan. I read volume 1 of this manga that I won as part of being a follower and commenter for the Melanin and Manga YouTube channel. I won a giveaway, and I have several manga to read, including the first 2 volumes of Dan to Dan, and I finished this one over last weekend. Something Wong says the first 2 volumes. I'm assuming you're meaning Sandman volume 1 and 2 as far as like the trades. I'm on the second omnibus, which I think finishes the whole thing off. The second omnibus goes through issue 75 and ends what they're trying to do, at least in that first volume. I loved volume 1, the omnibus, and obviously the stories that introduce the siblings, and I loved watching Morpheus get back all of the objects that were stolen from him and the journeys that he went through. Yes, there are 3 Omnis, and I own all 3. So I'm working my way through those. I'm gonna finish this second omnibus and then take a little break before I come back and do the third one. Let's see. Anybody else in the chat? All right. So what is Dan to Dan? It's a very quirky, like science fiction comedy. It focuses on this young lady, and where's the young man? I don't think he's on the cover. And a young boy at her school, and they're both interested in, I'll just say, the paranormal. One of them is fascinated by ghosts and spirits, and the other is fascinated by aliens. And they are both hilariously like hypocrites because they don't believe what the other person believes, and yet they are so adamant about what they believe. So they're unwilling to be understanding about somebody else's outlandish belief, but they hold desperately to their own. And it leads them to challenge one another. And in doing, one of them has to go into a haunted tunnel and the other has to go to a UFO landing site as a way to prove that their other person is wrong and that these things aren't real. And of course, they find out both things are real. And this leads to all kinds of battles with supernatural beings, and it leads to bizarre curses that force some very strange, odd, inappropriate kind of things to happen, as manga is often wont to do. Very odd, very funny and quirky, very well drawn. I'll show you some of the art, some wild creatures. Hopefully that shows up kind of well here. Some of the the monsters and the buildings are all kind of well handled. There are probably a few too many like short skirt manga moments that I think they kind of crack me up, where it's like, oh yeah, the girl has a short skirt, she's always flying through the air so that you can see her underwear. That's the typical manga stuff that I think you kind of have to have every once in a while. But the creatures are so wonderfully original. The monsters are so really well crafted. I really enjoyed the beasts. There's another like, oh, she's in a miniskirt, she's tied up. There's a Wonder Woman-y sort of bondage-y kind of thing going on there. But yes, I was very entertained. Creepy ghost woman in the tunnels. And I'm gonna dive into the second volume here. Oops, sorry, I'm holding it backwards because I'm an American trying to read manga. I'm gonna read volume 2 for sure, and then I'll give you another review of that soon enough. But you can read a little bit of what I wrote also on Instagram if you were checking it out. So yeah, Dan to Dan. Thank you to Melanin Manga, Sheena, and Inja for hooking me up with this and for expanding my my reading, because this is the second manga I've ever read. It was One Piece and now Dan to Dan. You'll learn to despise regular comics when you're all said and done. I think Sandman is often something that causes that for certain. Let's see. John, I saw you were getting into Throne of Glass. If you need a Mossverse break, check out Fourth Wing and Iron Flame from Rebecca Yaros. And I believe I've already bought Fourth Wing. I might be wrong about it. But yes, so I'm deep in the Mossverse, and I'm glad that you brought this up. Just added it to my list. There's Coach Vic. What's going on, sir? I have now read 5 books from the esteemed Sarah J. Maas. She is famous for the Court of Thorns and Roses series and the Throne of Glass series. And most recently, I read Throne of Glass, and I just posted about that recently. It's the first volume in her second series of books, which I think she has 8 books in that series. She has a wonderful fantasy universe that I find very, very entertaining. She's got very compelling characters and often really gets unexpected endings that I didn't see, things that I didn't see coming. Good morning to Dale and Michael. What's going on, gentlemen? Good to have you here this morning. And Air Spider, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. Sounds like a fancy toilet store. I mean, maybe. So in the case of Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses, they're both loosely based on fairy tales. So one, the Court of Thorns and Roses I mentioned is based loosely on Beauty and the Beast, and there are definitely elements straight from the original fairy tale. And then it goes in a very different direction as that universe expands. Throne of Glass is based on Cinderella, and there are elements in the iconography and the style and the universe that are built from that. Obviously, it's a throne of glass. You have glass as a metaphor and a visual tool all through it. But then where that story goes is very unexpected, and I think that's what I appreciate, is that it's the base for that story, but it's not the substance of it. I think I like the heroine in Throne of Glass more than I like the heroine of Court of Thorns and Roses. I think it's pronounced Selena, but it looked Celtish to me. Oh, hi, Mama. Hi, kitty cat. Where are you going? Are you coming through to say hi to us? Where are you going? Nope. You're going to get stuck, huh? I just don't want you to knock anything over. Come here. All right, I got you. So the Throne of Glass, at least the heroine, and again I pronounced it kind of Selena. It's Selena or Kalena. I find her fascinating. She's an assassin, and I think I like the way they launched that story by having her be imprisoned, and then she comes out of prison and gets into this sort of Goblet of Fire-esque competition that I found very interesting. Are you done? Are you telling me that you're done? Okay, take off. And I like that central thesis. I thought it was really well handled. Books with Crazy Lady B, what is going on? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think as a first novel, you compare Throne of Glass to Court of Thorns and Roses. I like Throne of Glass better as a first novel, as volume 1 or whatever. And I think it is it's a better launch to that universe. It's my Roman Empire series. There you go. I love it. I love it. And then thank you to the awesome folks in our community that have recommended a lot of these books by Sarah J. Maas, because I've been really in it. I'm like wrapped up in it right now. What I learned, somebody told me, and maybe people can correct me, is that Sarah J. Maas wrote Throne of Glass when she was like 16. And then it was like something she shoved in a drawer. And then when she became successful with The Court of Thorns and Roses, she went back, edited it, and then they published that book. And that's what we have here is her first novel in a lot of ways. And that even makes it more impressive to me, because I feel like it's very mature for a 16-year-old. I mean, I have a 16-year-old. It's a very mature character study, and that's impressive for me. I hear that, yeah, Paul, it is the same universe, but I'm not to a place now where I can see any of the connections. And I didn't want to be spoiled on it, because if it's important, is this a prequel? Is it a sidequel? Is it a sequel? Where it fits, I'm kind of curious, but I don't want to ruin it when I get there to see how they're related or how these connect. So I'm kind of excited for that. And I don't know, and maybe Crazy Lady B can say how, because there's also the Crescent. Is it Crescent Circle? There's like a new series as well that's like 3 books, and I think that might be tied in as well, because I think there's now 3 novel series all in that same sort of universe. What's up, Agu Rhythm? Good to see you, sir. What's going on, my man? Crescent City. Thank you for the fix. Yeah. I was curious to see if that fit in, because I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. Thus far, I've read the first 4 court books. Thorn and Roses, I did a review show on with a couple of friends of mine, and I'm doing now Mist and Fury, which is my favorite of all the books so far, book 2 of Court. I'm doing a show on Tuesday night discussing that one with Justin and Greg are going to join me on that. That's the Mist and Fury. And then I read, what's the third one? I can't remember all the names. I'm sorry. The third novel, Wings, something in Wings. I think I'm messing up the names now. The Wings book I finished, and then I did Frost and Starlight. It was the Christmassy kind of winter time novel. So I've done those 4. Wings and Ruin. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So I've read those 4. I'm saving the 5th and most recent court book for later, because there's no 6th book yet, and she's just starting to write the 6th book. So I thought, there's no rush on that, and I decided to go over and dive into the Thrones books while I'm waiting. So I'm doing I did Throne of Glass, and then I'm preparing for the 2nd book in that series. So it's nice to have something from Sarah J. Maas that then every once in a while I'm throwing in a manga, or I'm throwing in a comic series. So I'm balancing it out with a bunch of different things. So Crescent City books connect to the other 2. She says technically no. So it's possible, but it hasn't happened yet. Maybe, who knows, right? People actually read books without pictures. It's true. It happens. It happens, man. Let's see here. There you go. Subbing up. People are subbing up. I love it. Thank you so much. Court of Frost and Starlight is actually a novella. Yeah, it's really short. And it felt like a Christmas episode from a TV series. It just felt it was cute and it was fine, and I liked the way it was done, but it didn't feel as weighty and significant as the other 3 novels. But that's fine. It was to tide me over until I got to the 5th book. Right. Give John a break. He was up late talking movies and DVDs with Simon. Yeah, so those that missed it, I did my 2nd DVD chat with Simple Simon over on his YouTube channel last night. We were talking about his collection of DVDs and going through because both of us worked at video stores for a while and have sort of a first love for movies. And it was fun to kind of go through and see some of that. They do sorta, but I don't want to spoil. I appreciate that. That's the kind of friend that we all need for sure. And I have questions, but that's where my friend Sheena and my friend Inja from Melanin and Manga have been coming in handy. They've both read a lot of that series. They are Sarah J. Maas fans, or is what term do you prefer, Lady B, for fans of Sarah J. Maas? Because I've heard masochists, which is amazing. And I've heard Reese's Pieces. I've heard a few different names for fans of Sarah J. Maas because I need to know what I call myself now. So I'm very curious if you've picked one. The Maasiverse, there it is. She's supposed to have 6 books and 2 novellas for ACOTAR. Okay, there you go. Yeah, his Reservoir Dogs DVD was really cool. I've actually heard that one too, Taylor. You're not the first to think of that one. That is out there. I saw a funny list of them on a a meme somewhere. But Masochists seems to be the most popular one. But Reese's Pieces really made me laugh because that's the main. Oh, I don't want to say main. In ACOTAR, the Court of Thorn and Roses, the main male romantic interest character is Rhysand, R-H-Y-S, Rhys as in the Welsh pronunciation of R-H-Y-S, like Jonathan Rhys Davies or John Rhys Meyers. So it's kind of a Reese's Pieces. I thought it was very funny. Made me laugh. Just got a DVD of Reservoir Dogs for the first. Oh, you just saw it. Congrats, Ago. I hope you really enjoyed it, man. That's a massive undertaking as far as just the intensity of that movie. I remember seeing it the first time. Oh my goodness. What's up, Don Gustavo? Just saw you last night, man. How's it going? Yeah, it happens, right? What's up? We got Steve from Hip Hops and Me. What's going on? The Team Nerd Herd podcast, homie. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, sir. I'll get on my grind and catch up on Throne of Glass. If you want to hang Paul for a Throne of Glass talk at some point, you let me know. Because I'd love to do a live stream on that at some point as well. Because I got bearded on the court stuff, but I need somebody on the throne side. So if you want to chat, go for it. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. I liked the flick. I hope you did. I thought Reservoir Dogs is a great movie. I've heard some people say that it's Rye, but then I've heard other people say that it's Rhys. Like R-H-Y-S is a common Welsh name. Like it's a name, and it's pronounced Rhys and not Rice. Audio booking. Oh, are you? So you're going back through and you're on Throne of Glass? That's fantastic. I'm always in, Big Dog. Just let you know in. Okay, brother. I'll get you in here. No, you worry, sir. So yeah, that's where I am in the Maas verse. I just yesterday finished Throne of Glass and really enjoyed it. So I'm assuming I'm going to continue on with that series. Maybe do a couple other ones along that journey for sure. Maybe we can do a meetup like you and Old Wolf and can exchange gifts. That would be fun, Don Gustavo. I appreciate it, sir. Rhysand, right? Rhysand. What is up? We got Hoodat is in the chat. What's going on, Hoodat? He is he's coming out, I think, to the West Coast here soon. He's going to be doing some fun stuff with his family in the West Coast here. Let's see. So that's what I've been reading. I have a bunch of pickups here. It's perfect that Hoodat's here because I got a bunch of slabs, and I know Hoodat is a slab beast. He's often slabbing books, selling slabs. He's doing all kinds of stuff. DJ says, John, not sure if you've seen any of my stuff on Paul at 619 or Vogs. Crazy Lady is my wife. No way. I didn't know that, DJ. The Crafts by Bethany. I didn't know that. That's fantastic, DJ. I got to make sure I'm subbed to you, DJ, but I think I am. I've definitely subbed to Paul and Vogs, so I'll make sure that I'm subbed to you as well. First up, I got this for like $40. I got this for dirt cheap. This is from my favorite era of X-Men, the Marauders Massacre stuff. As you can see, I've got a 9.6 of issue 211 right behind me here. And I saw this for a steal, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm buying this. You better believe. And I know that a lot of these books are going up a little bit. I've definitely got to collect the rest of this run, at least in this grade. But heck yeah, man. Need to go to at least one comic shop while you're in Cali. There's a lot, especially up in that LA Universal Studios area. There's a bunch. I know Golden Apple is a popular one up in that area. Let's see. Just joined the lowest 106 club. Not a cheap book, but yeah, there you go. Let's see. Whoops, sorry. Funny. Only 10% of my TMNT is in slab. Yeah, I don't think you need all of them in slab, right? So I don't know if I'm a slab person. Yeah, brother. I get a lot of great folks hanging out here, man. I appreciate the diversity in my chat here for sure. All people with different, some comic readers, some novel readers, some just hangout friends, fans, toy collectors. Everybody's got their jams, right? But yeah, super pumped on snagging this. I continued to add to the early 200s X-Men. I got to get issue 200 and 201. I'd like to get some nice slabs of that. I chose a Wonder Woman background because I got some Wonder Woman goodies here. So let's. I'll give me one other book and then I'll do the Wonder Woman stuff. This is David Nakayama cover, homaging J. Scott Campbell, right? Yeah. I just thought this was hilarious. This cracked me up. It's too perfect. It's too perfect. I need all of it. Absolutely great. Nakayama always crushing it, and then yeah, the thruple comedy. I'm all in for it. I'm all in for it. Let's see. Rancho Cucamonga has a shop. That's nice. Let's see here. Super excited because I'm getting the original covers for Throne of Glass and the first 4 ACOTAR books in the mail today. Congrats. That's exciting. Yes, a good Kiss cover, right? Let's see. DNA has some great covers. He's one of my favorites these days. Absolutely. I try, right? I try. I like to, because I have a diverse taste and I try to jump into a lot of different channels. Just saying I'm part of that group now. There you go. So now let's get to the Wonder Woman stuff. First up, I think it's my favorite Art Germ cover. This is Wonder Woman issue 51. I love the steam coming out of her mouth. Just the snowy background. This is just a masterpiece. I absolutely love it. I saw this for a steal. Again, I got some of these slabs from my man Daymares, and I was like, yes, just throw that one in, throw this one in. he hooked me up with a deal for these 9/8. And then one more Wonder Woman. This was issue 750, but that's the legacy numbering. I can't remember what the other number is, but I just loved this Boss Logic cover here. The lighting, so cool. It reminded me of that Michael Turner Identity Crisis cover where she's made the lasso of truth into a noose. So cool. This is one of those bigger square bound books, so it's got a bigger square bound case for it. Wonder Woman all day. Jenny Frison is the queen of Wonder Woman covers. You are so right. And I do have a bunch of hers for sure. Absolutely. And then lastly is the newest omnibus in my collection. And I think I showed this off on, I think it was on Biggie Shack's channel. So this is the mod Wonder Woman 60s era Diana Prince series, all in one omnibus. This is when Diana loses her powers and basically is somewhat mortal for a stretch. And this covers issues 178 basically through 204. There's a couple issues that are not connected, but the rest of them are the mod era. It also includes Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane issue 93, Brave and the Bold 87 and 105, and Adventure Comics 397 plus World's Finest 204. So a whole variety of stuff here. Why did I buy this? So I was on a live stream with, I think it was Gary B, and we were talking about different things. No, it was Super Russ, sorry, on Super Russ's channel. And we got into talking about the mod era of Wonder Woman during the 60s, modern Wonder Woman, and how I had never read any of it. And then Old Wolf, Old Wolf went on eBay, and he's like, wow, they have an omnibus of that era. It's out of print, but these cost like, he said it was like $35. And he was bragging and he was sharing it. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, I'm just going to buy it. So I sniped it while we were on the live stream. And then he went back to buy it and it was gone because I had sniped it. I had stolen it. And then he ended up buying, I think he got one for, like $10 more or whatever. He got the next one. But I'm excited to check this out. I've never read anything from this era. And I couldn't resist the deal. It was a really good bargain. It was brand new, still shrink wrapped, even though it's out of print. I wanted to show you the other fun. Look at that. I love the inner cover, the back cover. This is a cool look. So it gives you that mod Wonder Woman flair, the white costume she wore prominently during that time. So at some point, I know this is, I buy Omnis and then I tend not to get to them very quickly, but I do get to them over time. It just takes time. So this is now added to the queue. Another omnibus to enjoy. Kitty cat, what are you doing? What are you doing under there, troublemaker? You climbing around? She's all over the Lego sets. Troublemaker. So there you go. That's my Wonder Woman haul. And then I have a small stack of single issues that include my current issues that I've been buying, including one more Wonder Woman. This is the Tom King era, and this was the issue that came out last week, and I have not read it yet. So I do need to get around to this issue number. Is it 10? Are they on issue 10 already? My goodness. Yeah, it is issue 10. I need to catch up on that. Like I said, I'm a little behind on my single issues, so I'm catching up on that. Let's see. X-Men 10. Ooh. And I got the new issue of Nightwing, which I got to read too, so I'm a little behind on some of that. And the rest of these are some keys that I picked up, minor in some cases, mega in other cases, for me at least. Minor, I got Captain Marvel issue 1, the giant size special. And Tony sent me the Precious Metal issue 1, which I reviewed on Wednesday night last week with my man, White Whale Comics. So if you want the review of the sequel to Little Bird, you can check that out. Then I got some older books, older meaning 80s or earlier. I sold my copy of this quite a long while ago, but realized that I really did want it because this is my Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel for me, right? Monica Rambeau. And this is her first appearance. Great cover first appearance. So I was excited to snag one of these. I got it from my man, Cali Comics, including as well, and I posted these on Instagram, a couple of raw copies of the first Apocalypse appearances. So I snagged, I have a slabbed 9.8 of this CBCS copy, but I wanted some raw copies as well. And these are in very nice shape. They're looking really nice. And the last comic that I snagged from him was this Green Lantern Green Arrow. This is the second issue in the storyline involving Speedy and his drug use. So a lot of people remember the main cover where your ward is a junkie or something like that on the cover. But I've never owned these books as much as they are like history in a lot of ways. I've never actually owned a copy of this, so it was very exciting to get this. And Neil Adams goodness, right? The origin story. Okay. Yes. Okay. So there you go. That's my my haul of comics. The stuff I've been buying lately. It's been a busy couple of weeks because we were in Phoenix last weekend for volleyball. which was a lot of fun. We didn't win. We were, I think, in the end, 5-7. So we struggled a little bit as a team through some of that. And then, but we saw some minor celebrities while we were there, because there's a lot of dads and moms of volleyballers. So actors like Jerry O'Connell from Sliders and Stand By Me, and Jerry Maguire. He was there because his daughters play volleyball. I guess Jamie Foxx was there. I never saw him, but people were saying they saw him and his daughters were playing most of the weekend. And then when I was leaving, Clockwork Orange actor Malcolm McDowell was checking into his hotel room while we were checking out. So I heard his voice and I was like, dude, that's Malcolm McDowell. He's like right next to me. It was awesome. Just to see, some minor celebrity sightings while we were there. It was kind of cool. Let's see here. I was out by you. You're in the Phoenix area. It was blazing hot. That is some heat. My grandparents lived in Phoenix when I was younger, and they had a place in Pinetop, Arizona, up in the mountains, which was nicer. You get lakes and you get pine trees and sometimes snow and such. But man, that 110 degrees in the big cities, no good. Waiting on last week's order. Okay, got some eBay books on the way. Nice. It's a great sport. The problem is I don't feel like there's enough for young kids that are trying to get into it. I think it's almost like it waits until they're in junior high almost. In our area, you have to get into club teams to really get into it when they're little. And that stuff is so expensive. It's a sport that seems to be keeping people out because of how costly it is. The club team expenses are wild, and it includes, usually you have to pay to fly or drive long distance to 3 cities far out. We've done Vegas twice. We've done Colorado, I think, once. We've now done Phoenix once. Those are all local, at least within driving range at some point. But my nephew had to go to Florida from California to Orlando. And there's people that legitimately can't play the sport because they can't travel all the way across the country 3 times a year for sports. It's wild. It's a little bit extreme. What's up, Christina, in the chat? How you doing? Looks like Frog Brawler and Who Dat chatting about books and snagging some keys together. Inja still creeping. What's going on, Inja? Hip Hop's and me. What's up, Steve? What are you doing, brother? Where are we at here? Christina sending out the love, much appreciated. 100 degrees with 100 degrees. I mean, that's brutal. Brutal. Inja and Sheena reading and talking about Akatar or Sarah J. Maas. Bethany likes you girls more. I mean, I get it. I like Inja and Sheena more. What are you talking about? I agree. Remember, She-Hulk smashed that like button. We have a sports department in our town and area, so it's seasonal. Okay, that's nice at least. And there's a lot of on the cheaper side, there's summer camps where you can sign up for like a week and get like training and get basic skills and stuff. It's just tricky, that stuff's tricky. I had to get a job to pay for my lacrosse gear back in high school. Legit for sure. My daughter is 5 feet already at 9. Yeah, I mean it's the perfect thing for tall girls, especially. That's ideal. What's going on, Super Rust 9000? How you doing, brother? He doesn't mean more than you, just more because I know they read the same things as me. I feel that. There's definitely channels I follow because they read the same stuff as me, and I want to hear the discussions in and around what I've been reading. So I totally get that. That makes 1,000% sense. But I also love people that challenge me a little bit. So like I've been, I always cruise by Legion of Comics because Mark reads a lot of stuff that I don't. and I'll get recommendations from him, or I'll get perspectives from him that I wouldn't normally get because they're a little outside of my ring. So there's also that side of it too, where I appreciate people like Mark because they are avid readers, like passionate readers, and when they love something, they love it wholeheartedly, and you can just feel their joy coming off the the YouTube screen there. So I appreciate that a bunch. So TMNT with Jason Aaron. I had not heard that. So that's interesting. So, whoops, sorry. John's a great guy. Remember to hit the the notification bell. Road to 3K. I'm just glad I crested 2,600. I'm hovering right around there, 2,610, something like that. Creeping and crawling my way along, doing my thing. This weekend, obviously with 4th of July stuff going on, I'm going over to my mom's for pool party today. Pool party. And then tomorrow I've got Dungeons and Dragons over on White Whale Comics channel. Tuesday, like I said, I'm talking A Court of Mists and Fury with Bearded and No Good Comics. That's on my channel, and I already put those live streams in. So you can find that. You can already hit the notification bell if while you're watching this video, you can click on view my channel, go to the live streams, and you can notify yourself when we go live for those shows. So there's an ACOTAR stream coming up on Tuesday evening. If you want to hear about our thoughts, 3 boring guys talking about fairy smut, if you want to call it that, although I do think that that's an unfair description for what Sarah J. Maas is, because her writing is so superior to a lot of stuff out there these days, so vastly superior. Then Wednesday night, if you're a Silver Age comic fan and you love reading Silver Age books, I'm doing a Silver Age stream on Wednesday night. That one is going to be Avengers versus Justice League. So that stream is already set up. So Wednesday night I'm with Magic Lasso, and I'm going to break down Avengers issue 2. He's going to help break down Justice League of America issue 2, published 3 years apart. But obviously for both of their brands, this is the launch of new superhero teams. So we're comparing those books to kind of get a sense for what was it like? How are they in common? What do they have in common? And which is a better, more entertaining book? So that's going to be a lot of fun, is getting into the nitty gritty. Last time we were on Lasso's channel, Avengers 1 versus JLA 1, and JLA issue 1 was the victor. The chat voted, and they decided the better book was JLA issue 1. So let's discuss issue 2 and see which book is the better book. So I'm going to be reading those this week so that I'll be able to discuss them on Wednesday night. So that's me the next week. Those are the big highlights of what I'm doing and what's going on with me. It won't be just wait. You'll get to the point where you understand why they call it that without giving spoilers. Ooh, okay. I'm sure you can produce a quality published issue if you want to. I mean, one day maybe I'll get back to writing a little more often, but it's been a while. So that's it, gang. I'm gonna bounce out of here. I hope you have a great Saturday. I'll be in and out of chats, but it's gonna be a barbecuing beach party day where I'll probably be reading Sandman by the pool. So that's what you can expect from me today. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys again soon. Peace.